What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Welcome back into Let's Talk Live here on the LTL Media channel. It is October 14th, 2024. Nice to see everybody here in the chat. Hopefully, maybe we can get like 100 people in here tonight. I know it's an off-brand stream because we've been doing so much work on the Karen Reed case, Sandra Birchmore, Enrique Delgado Garcia. And, I've talked about this, trying to start reaching out and expanding the channel beyond that. It's not that I'm not going to stop doing and working and talking about those cases, but, we need to branch out a little bit here too and possibly bring in some new subscribers to the channel. But I feel like tonight I'm going to go back and visit an old friend. And I don't mean like Bryan Kohberger or what happened to the Idaho students. I want to go back and revisit this case because this, the Idaho 4 murders was really the case that launched my channel when this happened back in 2022. I was pretty front and center on it and doing I spent almost about a year of streaming this case and talking about it and met so many wonderful people from my chat room to subscribers to moderators. And I just thought that we'd go back and do an update tonight. So we're gonna work through this, get through some updates. It's been quite a while since I've looked at this case. Steve Goncalves, Kaylee Goncalves's father, actually did a new updated interview with Nancy Grace. So we're gonna play through that tonight. But I want to see, how they feel now that this has been moved into Idaho County over in Idaho, in Boise. The trial's been moved to Boise. We're looking now at an August 2025 date to get this trial going. And it's saying the judge there is saying it's going to be about a 3-month trial. So before we go forward, I always like to go back. But let me do this first. And I hope I bring some of the old Idaho people in here. The old Idaho crew tonight. It'd be really nice to see some of the old names in here. And, again, it's going to take a while. It's going to be about close to another year to this trial possibly kicks off. I have a lot of my thoughts on it. A lot of people come at the Goncalves family because they're so front and center and talk about this, and everybody calls them celebrities. And listen, if I was put into a situation where I sent my daughter and, my daughter's best friend off to college and they get brutally murdered in the middle of the night, with no warning or any type of, we know Bryan Kohberger, obviously the accused here, but no signs that this guy was, stalking or anything seemed out of the ordinary. I would be speaking up, just like them. I would be out there front and center in the media, letting people know how I feel, screaming from the top, the top of the tallest mountain until this goes to trial. And hopefully they get justice in this case. My feelings on it, and I'll give you my opinion. This is my opinion. I can do that. This is my platform. I think Bryan Kohberger did it or was at least involved in it. There's a lot of evidence that points towards him. And I know a lot of people that probably in this chat room now that are watching or maybe watching this on replay, might come at me, and that's fine, but I can have my opinion. And there's a lot of things that we've gone through here on this channel that lead me to believe that he is the suspect or one of the major players in this. And it's just, getting down to the root of that, of what happened. How did this guy become involved with these 4 students? What brought him to that house? What made him, target these individuals? So, but we'll get into it. We'll talk about it tonight, and we'll go back and look at kind of a little bit of a timeline here first, and then we'll start doing some new updates. New jail, new judge in Idaho, been moved to Boise into a bigger courtroom. And, it puts a very disadvantage to the Goncalves family because they have to travel quite a bit to get there. And they're looking at, a 3-month trial, and they've gotten a lot of shit on a line for, getting donations to be able to be there during the trial. It's expensive to do that. They may have to rent a house for 3 months. They may have to take off work for 3 months. And they're going to try to be there in between during these major hearings that happen, August 25th, 2025. It's a long ways away. It's a long ways away. But let me look up here in the chat. I know it's been a while. I want to get to some of the chats here. Let's see. Tracy says, I believe I started watching you at this time. Idaho 4 case. I remember you driving your car to a car wash, conveying how long 8 to 10 minutes really was, and been hooked ever since, and the Karen Reed coverage. Well, I appreciate you being here. And I do remember doing that video. We wanted to see how long 8 to 10 minutes were, because that's how they said it, how long it took for the accused to commit these murders inside 1122 King Road. Wow, I haven't said that in a while. 1122 King Road. Haven't said that. And there was a lot of controversy about the house being torn down. I felt that it shouldn't have been torn down. Because, you know, when I look at it, that structure, when you put a structure up, like the room that I'm in right now, if this room was to be demolished and then they wanted to try to build this room right back to the same specs and whatever, it's never going to be that same room. Acoustics will change. The feeling of the room will change. The feeling of that house, you know, even if they knocked this house down and they try to recreate it somewhere else and do a walkthrough, it will never feel the same way that it was. You'll never have the acoustics in that house like it was, because that is the original home. It's just the way things are. You can never recreate that. So I had a lot of to say about that when they actually tore the house down itself. Sophie, channel moderators in the house. Nice to see you, Sophie. Thank you for being here. Let's see. A lot of Ghost Squad members in here. Cam Miller's over here. Nice to see you. Should be an interesting show. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. A lot of Ghost Squad members. Ruby C in the house. Nice to see you. Angela, hello. You are here. Yes. I like that you're branching out to other cases, Crystal says. Yeah, I mean, it's time. You know, it's time. We have Delphi coming up. We have Sarah Boone. Those are cases that I want to talk about. I know a little bit more about Sarah Boone, so I'll probably talk more about that than Delphi. I didn't really get hooked into Delphi. I know it was happening right around the same time as the Idaho 4 murders, and there was really two big cases to juggle. So I just kind of naturally gravitated to the Idaho 4 murders. I just felt kind of, you know, more into that. Allegedly, LB says, I missed so much about the Idaho 4 since the Karen Reed stuff. I have too. That's why I wanted to do this. Cindy says, this is the case how I found you. Well, I appreciate you being here. Michelle says, I've been incessantly following this case since day one. Yeah, at least a year to a year and a half of following. I like the new judge. 3-month trial. Yep, 3 months. That's what they're saying. Possibly a 3-month trial. Let's see. Yeah, and you know, and this is the thing, I do wonder if he had a partner. It's possible. It's possible. It is quite possible. Mark's here. He says, yo. Nice to see you, Mark. Lucy's in the house. Nice to see you. I can't see one person doing all this. Let's see. Why am I not seeing people in the chats? I don't know. Let's see. Good evening. Clarissa's here. Nice to see you. Good evening. Good evening. All right, so we'll start getting in. Diane is here. Diane has been here for a long time, too. I think she followed me through the Idaho 4. Shonda Lee's here. She said, hey, from Australia. Looking forward to this trial. We are, too. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to turn my air on. Hang on 1 second. Then I got an announcement. Let you all know what's going on in the LTL camp. So I had an opportunity before we get into the show tonight. I had an opportunity come up today. Hey, look at that. We got over 100 people in here. That's good. It makes me feel good. So I had an opportunity today that I came up to the studio, and my landlord approached me here and said, hey, I know that you have been looking to expand, go into a bigger room. He said, I have an opportunity for you. I said, okay. And, you know, the room that I've been wanting is this one up on the 3rd floor. It's a large suite, has a grand room in it, and two of the same rooms that kind of the size that I'm in here. It might be a little bit bigger. It's a beautiful room. It has an entryway, then the grand room and 2 smaller rooms. I love that. It's expensive. Could I swing it? Sure. But he approached me today and said, hey, I know that you're looking to go up into the larger room, but I have an opportunity for you. I said, okay, well, what is it? So let me show you this room. So I went into a in-between size room. We have an entryway, kind of the same size room that I'm in now, but it opens up into a larger room. And it has a front-facing window where you just pull this large curtain, has a large picturesque window, and you can look out into the street. I can look in the street here too. I have a window here, but it's much larger. It's a bigger space. I can get a couch in there, and that's what I've been wanting to do, is get a couch so we can all just hang out, when people come in, and I don't have to sit behind this like large computer. And that's something that I've been considering. So the room is available. I saw it tonight. I really like it. I'm like 80-20, like 80% that I want to move into it, 20% not. But here's the stipulation to all of it. If I move into the larger room, I got to sign a lease for a year. So it'll be another year. My lease in this room is up in March. But what my landlord said he would do is just flip the lease. I would sign out another year, and then I would continue. So that would mean that I would have to dedicate at least another year to LTL Media. It's a big step and a big challenge. We're bumping up. The rent is more. And it's going to motivate me now to, am I going to do this or am I not going to do it? And right now it's been very comfortable in here. I can afford it, and, moving up and really making that commitment. So I have a couple of days to think about it, because they are showing the room on Thursday, and I may be committing to it. And if I do, he said he would allow me like a 2-week move in where I can move everything down, at least into that room, and start getting it ready. But if I do that, lives for a while may be back at my house until I set up the new room and the new space. So I'm excited about it. It's I'm kind of locking my roots here in Massachusetts for another year. If I decide to do it, I think it'll be awesome, because it will allow guests to have some more space and come in, and it's cramped in here right now, and I'm now realizing that after about, I've been in here almost 8 months, and it's small, and I really want to get into a larger room. So we'll see what happens. I still have to think about it a little bit. It is a longer business venture. It'll continue. It'll dedicate me. I know that it'll keep dedicating me. It is going to be the reality of my life for the next year, signing the lease and doing that. So it's exciting. It's exciting. And maybe this is the other push that I need to continue to keep going. So it is really, really exciting. So let me just go up here. I want to read some of the chats. Let's see. Clarissa says, I would do it. Sounds like he's working with you to get you in that space. Yeah, we talked about it. And the cool thing is I want a hardwired internet, and I can do that in that room where I'm just running off Wi-Fi here. So I know once I get a hard line in there, the video and audio will be crystal clear all the time. There'll be no issues because it will be hardlined in. So that's another benefit of it. And the girl that's in there now, the space is beautiful. She did a really nice job with it. So I am excited about it. So Jessica said, that would be awesome for you, Bryan. I say, do it. We all love you, and we'll be here following you. Let's see. Keep your back set up. Work with the purple. Yeah, we're going to keep purple. We'll definitely keep purple going. Scott McGinnis in here. Nice to see you, Scott. Maybe you can negotiate. We did negotiate. We have negotiated the price. I have the rent all set to go. I've already worked with that with him. We talked about it. Angela said, I have 3 businesses. I've always say, go big or go home. I like that. I may end up doing it. I love that. I love that. I really love that. Almost 200 viewers in here. Great. Great. Again, I want to just, the cons, it's not really a con. It would dedicate me here for at least another year, and dedicate myself to YouTube for another year. I was going to, I feel like I'm in a members only right now. I was going to, and we'll get to the Idaho show tonight, I promise, but I love all this interaction. I love the questions. We can make this kind of a hangout tonight with the general subscribers. So, really, I was going to look at, and I always like to reevaluate life, every couple of months. Where am I at? Where do I want to go? What is the direction that I want to go in? Hang on one second. I'm just getting my air going. So I always look at things to, I like to reevaluate my life. Where am I at? What do I need to change? What do I need to start doing better? What are things that I could do to motivate myself and et cetera? So every couple of months I do like a reevaluation. My lease in this room runs till March. And that was going to give me enough time to say, do I want to continue with LTL Media? Do I want to continue to do this venture? And if I'm going to sign another year, which I'm most likely going to continue with LTL Media, then why not just move into a bigger space and expand more, make it really what I want it like in there, and instead of being so cramped in here, and have the space available to do that. So it's really what I want to do and what I want to go for going forward, but locking in a lease for a year, at my current living situation, I'm month to month. So I could just get up and leave. And if I want to move to Florida tomorrow, I can do that. Locking yourself into a lease, you have to, stay out the remainder of that lease. So I would be here in Massachusetts for at least another year. So I don't know. We'll see. It is a big decision. No, I haven't thought about that, but you never know. 6 months from now, life changes. Life changes, things change. But my heart is here. I kind of want to get out of this room. It's got a little stink in here. a little, I just want to get out of this room. And I think, I think things come in at certain times in your life, certain energy, certain situations to get you into a fresher perspective and newer venture. So it wouldn't have come in. This situation wouldn't have come into my life. And it was funny. I was just saying to someone literally like a day ago, I want to get out of this room. It just has too many memories in here. A lot of great ones. But there's just one particular memory that I want to move on from. So maybe we move into the other room. So anyway, let's get to the show. And no. We're not going anywhere. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here. Trust me. I'm going to 100%, I would say 100%, but I'm like 80% doing this move. So it's just going to take some time. So all right, let's get to the show tonight. I'm going to pull up my screen here. No, go Squad's here. Scott says, great show down the road. Be looking back at all this time. Meanwhile, forge ahead. Absolutely. So, all right, let's get into, yes, Sage my space until I move. And the funny thing is I have Sage over there. Jen O'Donnell, very sweet of her. Last time she was in the studio, she brought me some Sage. I just haven't had the opportunity to do it yet, but I kind of want to just get out of this room. I just kind of want to get out of here for a new beginning. All right, let's get into the Idaho show, the Idaho 4 show. Let's go through a timeline. It's been quite a while since I've gone through this, and I don't want to read through everything, but we'll do, most of it here, kind of the highlight points. And again, I appreciate y'all being here. I know this is very off-brand, and look, this is going to be some of the things that we get into. We're going to do different cases other than Massachusetts and go back and look at stuff. Again, we have quite some time until this case hits the courts, but I wanted to at least come back and just do an update. It has been a while, and you can go back and watch all of my Idaho 4 content on my channel if that, enthuses you. All right, so Idaho College student killings, a summary and timeline. All right, let's go through a little bit of this. So starts off, this was originally written December 31st, 2023, and there was an update on October 10th, 2024. I'm not going to read through every single thing here, but we'll kind of dribble through it. I really want to get to the new interview with Steve Goncalves. So if you're new to this case, the killings of the 4 Idaho students in mid-November, and this is back in 2022, mid-November at an off-campus residence stunned the small community of Moscow, where investigators grappled with the town's police chief would later describe a very complex case. No suspect was immediately named in the deaths of housemates Madison Mogan, 21, Kaylee Goncalves, 21, Xander Knodel, 20, and Ethan Chapin, 20. Nor was the murder weapon believed to be a large. Nor was a murder weapon believed to be a large fixed-bladed knife. But the intensity, scrutiny, and unsolved slaying sparked thousands of tips to the FBI. Then nearly 7 weeks later, with the community on edge and speculation swirled about who committed such violent act, police announced an arrest in Pennsylvania of a doctoral student in criminal justice. Quote, "This is not the end of the investigation," Latah County Prosecutor Attorney Bill Thompson said at the news conference announcing the arrest in late December. In fact, it's a new beginning. All right, so let's get to the timeline. I'm not going to go through every single bit of this, but we'll go through some of the major points here. So November 12, 2022, starting at around 9 p.m., Knodel and Chapin are seen at a party at Chapin's fraternity Sigma Chi, a short walk from King Road. That is the apartment that they all lived in, 1122 King Road, apartment house where the roommates lived, according to investigators. November 13th, let's see. That night, Goncalves uploads pictures to her Instagram account featuring photos of friends to be with one lucky girl to be surrounded by these people every day. At about 10 p.m., Goncalves and Mogan go to a sports bar in Moscow called the Corner Club. On the 13th, at about 1:30 a.m., Goncalves and Mogan are seen ordering a nearby food truck, according to the truck's live stream. Investigators say Knodel and Chapin returned to their 3-level house on King Road at about 1:45 a.m., while Goncalves and Mogan take a car ride home, arriving at 1:56 a.m. Meanwhile, two of the housemates who have gone out that night and had arrived back before the others at about 1 a.m., Moscow police say. At 11:58 a.m., a 911 call is placed on the cell phone of one of the other housemates requesting assistance for an unconscious person. Both housemates are unharmed. Excuse me. Police alert the public about the deaths in a news release, and while they say there is no one in custody, they do not believe that there is an ongoing community risk based on the information gathered during a preliminary investigation. On the 16th, with no suspect apprehended, Moscow police walk back previous comments that there are no threats to a largely rural of 26,000 residents. And here we go. Here's all the major flaws and screw-ups. Do not have a suspect at this time, and the individual is still out there, says Chief James Fry, says at a news conference. He adds that more than 25 investigators in the Idaho State Police and the FBI are assisting the case. All right, let's jump up a little bit here. So this went on for weeks. We will go to, they talked about a targeted attack. And then it became clear on December 2nd, 2022, that two housemates, Bethany Funk and Dylan Mortensen, released letters saying they are struggling to accept the lives of 4 beautiful people were taken so brutally. Excuse me one second. Let's see. We're going to jump up a little bit here. They started removing personal items on the 7th. On the 15th, Christy Goncalves, Kaylee's mother, expresses frustration during an interview with NBC's Today show that she had learned about the police interest in a white Hyundai Elantra when the rest of the public did, underscores how some victims' families feel. I feel left in the dark. Let's keep going here. Right here, December 30th, 2022, police announced an arrest of suspect Bryan Christopher Kohberger, 28, a resident of Pullman, Washington, then a doctoral student at Washington State University. He is apprehended in the northeastern Pennsylvania, about 2,500 miles from Idaho campus, and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary. According to the 2 law enforcement sources, DNA evidence played a key role in linking the killings to Kohberger. I'm also going to put this out there, and I firmly believe this, that there are other things that are going to connect, other pieces of evidence that are obviously going to connect Bryan Kohberger to this. I think one of the key pieces of evidence, and I've talked about this before, and this might blow some people's minds, but I did a show on this, and I actually had a Bluetooth expert come on my show. in one of the interviews that that Christy and Steve Goncalves gave, and I think it was Brian Enton. This is quite a while back, and I can find the interview. But they talked about when they started to get Kaylee's items back. They said, they kept a lot of her items in evidence for quite a long time. They kept her phone. There was some other personal items up there. And Steve had mentioned something about this Bluetooth speaker that could have been, they didn't say where it was in Kaylee's possession, but it was definitely in that house, and it was owned by Kaylee. I said, well, that's really interesting. We know that Kohberger, it has been reported that he was in and around that home at least 12 times. To me, that's someone that's reconning that area, looking to be in and out. How can I get in? How can I get out quickly? And I said, and I said this in my live, and I always talk to friends about this case when I mentioned this, and they said, wow, that's really crazy. So if you look, and I'll just show you right now. Let me go to my phone. Now, that's my phone. That's my Bluetooth turned on. That is everything that my Bluetooth has either come in contact with or is trying to actively connect to in this room. The way Bluetooth works is it sends out a low frequency, like AM signal. And what it does is if there's an item in a room or around you that has Bluetooth turned on and you have it turned on in your phone, it's sending out a signal. And it's trying to do what's called make a handshake. It's trying to connect. So it's kind of sending that signal out. Hey, do you want to connect? Do you want to connect? And it's essentially pinging it. And you have to actively have it connect, or I know some items automatically connect, like speakers and stuff like that. My theory is, and this is very interesting too, there were some noise complaints that were sent a couple of months before the murders took place. And in one of the videos, you can see when the police officer comes up in his body cam, when they peer in the sliding glass window into 1122, well, wouldn't you be surprised? Right there was a large Bluetooth speaker. Now, I don't know if that's the one that was in evidence. It could have been. That could have been Kaylee's. But I'm thinking, how close would someone have to be to create that handshake or connect to someone's Bluetooth? And I looked it up. They say like regular kind of everyday, I wouldn't say commercial grade Bluetooth speakers, I guess. It's like 33 feet. So if Bryan Kohberger is the suspect, well, he is the suspect. If Bryan Kohberger is the murderer and he was reconning that house, and let's say he came up to that window, that would at least, and looked in, that would at least put him within 33 feet of that Bluetooth speaker where it possibly made a connection or did a handshake. Or how about this? The night of the murders, this idiot forgot to turn off his Bluetooth and goes in and it connects. Now, we know that he was in airplane mode, so that would obviously cut off all of that connection. But let's just say before that, let's say this moron forgot to turn off his Bluetooth, comes up to 1122 King Road, starts peering around the windows, maybe possibly went in the house before, snuck in the house and got a layout of the house. That's possible. Why everybody was away. And he connected to a speaker. Why would they have that in evidence? Why would they have held that for so long? So those are some of the questions that I had. And I think it's going to see that during the trial, that this guy either tapped their Wi-Fi or connected to things in that house via Bluetooth, if it is Bryan Kohberger, which I feel it is. All right, let's move on here. So they extradite Kohberger back to Idaho. He appears in court on January 3rd, 2023 for the first time. Yeah, Karen Reed is in this. Great questions. Thank you. I've seen all the footage. I've seen all the footage. Let's see. Donnie says that's interesting. Thanks for the chat. Yeah, the house was always wide open. People came and went all the time. But I think that's a very interesting theory. Why would they hold Kaylee speaker? Let me see if I can find that. I'd like to at least play that for you all so you have a pretty good idea of what Steve Goncalves was saying. Let's see. I'm glad you're all, let's see. Bluetooth. Oh, I had it. Hang on. Let's see. See if I can find the video of Steve when he talks about it. I had my aha moment. I remember I went, what? Wait a minute. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Just hang with me for a second. All right, let me do this. I'm going to share my screen. I think I got it to the actual point. Wouldn't that be some luck if I did find it?
But I don't really
Oh,
know
right
how
here.
Keely's phone is.
Okay, let's go back a little
But
bit.
these are
So
months.
this is back on 9 months ago. What did I do? 9 months ago, this interview. Shit. Sorry. Where was this?
Yeah. You know what? 15.
Showing
the verdict.
All right, let's play through this. And that's what I found was very interesting. Let's see what they say.
The details are going to be what led up to it, or when he got eyes on him, or one of them, both of them, someone, how he picked that. I mean, I think it's just going to be very haunting, very just a nightmare.
Yeah,
just an average
the
person's.
motive, I think, because we don't really have that yet.
Yeah.
So that will all be.
So they were
his
speaking to
which
Brian
is
Ensign.
weird. I think his motive was he wanted to do it. He
wanted
wanted
to-
to murder.
Yeah. Well, he did
I
want to
know
be.
that's but why did he want to murder? Well, he wanted murder because he wanted to see what it felt like because he's a weirdo. I don't know.
Well, he wanted to be a police officer.
I agree. Look at
No, I
him
don't
back
think
in
most
the
police
I was
officers
back in my
wanna
bedroom
murder
back then.
people.
No, but he
and
wanted.
especially that way.
It was
I mean,
part of
goodness.
his fantasy was to be
Yeah.
in that situation of control. So,
But yeah, I mean, some of the details I look forward to because it would be nice to put it to rest. But I don't know if I would put it to rest. That your brain ponders it. How did they cross paths? How?
Yeah.
I want answers. I want to know.
We all want to know. Believe me, Christy.
Why can't you just tell us that? I mean, I get it, but I mean, it's just
We all
such
wanna
a
know.
simple question, and
And just how he was able to do that so quickly in the
yeah,
house.
yeah.
It's so brutal.
Yeah. I mean, what, 15 minutes?
Yeah, I did.
404 to 417 or something? And people say, well, it's not possible. It's not possible. Yeah, it is. He was on a mission.
I think they'll
He
redo
was
those
on a
steps.
mission. He went boom, 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 straight
Yeah, and
upstairs.
adrenaline, and
And it's both victims are right next to
I
each
mean,
other.
sit for 14 minutes. Just sit. Put your clock on.
Long
Me and
time.
Olivia have done that before. And be like, just sit inside. We're just going to sit here. And I mean,
Oh, thank you.
we're like, how long has it been? And she was like, 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. 11 minutes. Like, that's a long time. So you think it is, people are like, no way. Yeah, way. I'm not thinking anybody new will be introduced to the case in that way, like an accomplice or anything like that. You can't get somebody to get on that MO with you. No way.
All right, so I went back a little too far, but we're going to get to the point.
Yeah,
I
I
just want
just
to take a quick pause break here really quick.
Way, like,
The people don't get my minutes. I'm over 600 people.
But
Let's see.
yeah, you're not getting, somebody's not getting on that crazy train with you. You're going to say, you're crazy. You are crazy.
yeah, that would have come out by now, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mistrust
And people
between the
always-
two.
so you
I mean,
don't think-
and you're gonna throw this person
Yeah.
under the bus the first time.
Make
first
sure you're
thing you
here.
say.
And I worry
PM
about, I
Standard
don't
Time.
worry about him, but
Almost
my
every
mind
single
also
night
thinks
I'm streaming.
that one day he's just going to say, we're backed in the corner. All of our emotions have been heard. We're done. I'm looking like a straight up fool right now because, We got nothing. He can't even come up with an alibi. Let's talk about that for a minute. What happened with that? It was due.
Yeah,
It was
Idaho
due,
law
it was
says
due,
you
it was
have to
due.
give your alibi.
It was extended. It was extended. It was
Or
extended.
they explained to us, or you can't use one. So that would mean he couldn't say,
So right there. And then I was driving around. Yep, that was my white car.
Yeah,
that drove-
driving
yep,
around.
That was
Remember
me,
that?
but I didn't
Driving
go in
around.
and kill those kids.
Yep.
That's my
you can't
fault.
come
That's
up with
on
an
the
alibi
paper
on
from
the
him.
in the courtroom. He just has to say.
I'm trying to get to the part where they
Don't
talk
know
about
how
her
my
items.
sheep
I'm
got
sorry.
there. I mean,
If-
scared.
You don't want to
because-
hear something that
Well, yeah, I mean, because you can't. I mean, and like I said, my mind will go. But about like
What a great
maybe I
channel.
shouldn't go and be there. I mean, there are days that I won't be.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Like she went through that.
at least we can be there to make sure.
Out or they're I mean the prosecution's got to paint a picture. Even the picture that they paint, I mean, it's probably going to be fairly accurate, I would think, for
But
the most part.
we could talk to Thompson, the prosecution, and say, hey, all you have to do is that will. I think it'll be pretty clear
Sucks. I had it too. I had it the spot and then I screwed it up.
by the end of the case, the verdict.
I think the details are going to be what led up.
Yeah,
Just an average
the
person.
motive, I think, because we don't really have that
Yeah.
yet. So that will all be.
And I think which is
Was it here?
through
I'm
that
still
window.
looking for it.
all of a sudden they dropped the bomb yesterday that court tomorrow or something like that. And we're like, oh yay,
Yeah, it's very
and then we're getting there.
outside
But these
perspective.
months are torture. And
Okay,
at least
hang
for
on.
me,
I
because
think
I feel like I just part of it is I just torture myself with them, and I'm just like I get that date in my head. And I'm like, just reverse. I just try to get through the weeks. I'm like, just get through the weeks.
And I get active. I get involved. I know that I can find
And I just
more
want to pull the
information.
covers up over my head and just be like, just leave me alone. Where are my dogs?
I know you mentioned that that you guys wanted to get like her phone back.
Here it is.
Is there anything else that like you guys were like, oh my gosh, I'd love to have this?
We asked for a list of the things that they had to take. Because we know of some things like a laptop, an Apple laptop, and a couple of things. We couldn't even get them to give a list. So
Of things that they had. And maybe it sounds stupid, but I
Electronics.
don't really
Right
know
here,
why
it's coming up.
Kaylee's phone is evidence. Like what is on, so it makes me think, what is on it?
yeah, that makes you go cuckoo.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
what is on it?
The speaker.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. This is what I've been waiting for 10 months. For this to be confirmed. This is what I've been waiting for 10 months.
Yeah.
There's someone to say something about this speaker. And he said it, and I went, holy shit. In February of 2023, this was the first time a source said
I remember
there
I
was a speaker.
COVID just after I made
And this
video.
now makes all sense to me.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the very beginning of this. If Kohberger was in and around that neighborhood, there is a possibility that his phone connected to Kaylee Goncalves' speaker, or he's screwing around with his phone and connected to it by accident.
Yep.
They're going to have a digital trail of that. And Micro is actually in here confirming all of that. So this makes sense, even if it didn't connect that night. But here's the kicker, even better than that. Let's say we know he was down in that area 12 times. Let's say the one time his phone connects with that speaker, and on the night he goes back there to commit the murders, and he has his phone in his pocket, and he thinks he's so smart, having it in airplane mode.
That's
He goes
right.
into that house and it reconnects to
It
that
does.
speaker because it had already been there before.
Yep.
It knew,
Yep.
like we talked about, when you go to a hotel and you stay there and you connect to the Wi-Fi or the Bluetooth and you leave and you come back and maybe vacation there again, it's going to try to remember that. It's going to try to handshake those devices. This is the moment I've been waiting for 10 months to confirm this.
I'm like, yes.
I think this is going to lock Kohberger in. Even if the DNA is all fucked up and it seems fucked up and the defense is trying to fuck it all up, But I still think there's going to be a lot of explaining. I know it's not their job to explain. It's the job of the prosecution to prove. But you have a knife sheath, with Bryan Kohberger's DNA on it, next to 2 dead victims in a bed. You have the possibility, and I think it's a very strong possibility now, with this confirmation from Steve 10 months later, that Kohberger's phone could have connected with Kaylee's speaker. And I think it did. I think it did.
I think it did.
Why
too.
would they still continue to have that in evidence and not give that back to the Goncalves family? Also a possibility, and I don't know how computers work, could there be a possibility that his phone pinged off her Bluetooth on her computer? I think this all makes sense now. And I'm going to wait now for trial, because if this is a moment of victory here for LTL True Crime Podcast figuring this out.
Oh, I'm so sick with COVID.
And they say, well, his device connected to Kaylee's speaker. I'm going to probably shit a gold brick on the floor. I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe this. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yes, Steve said it. We absolutely know now. We know. So I just want to go back and hear the moment there really quick again. We'll play this. And then I'm going to.
So, like I said, it's a big possibility that this moron, while he's reconning the house, tapped her Bluetooth speaker, or at least tried to handshake it. And it stores all that information in the device, so they can extract that. There used to be a girl that comes in my chat, and I'm actually friends with her still on Instagram, but her screen name was Micro Kimmy. And she actually worked for Verizon for like 8 years. And we did a show about this. And she said it is very highly possible what you said. And the cool thing about when I discovered this, and everybody was so head over heels about Idaho 4, like at the time, no one had talked about this. So I was just like, yes, like I figured out a new angle that could literally put him in and around that house. Now, it doesn't necessarily say that he went in there and murdered them, but it puts him in and around that house. And with all the other evidence, the other circumstantial evidence, it could seal the deal on this guy. So, and I still think he's going to have a very hard time, a knife sheath with his, yes, and I get it, touch DNA, but he touched that knife somehow, and it was found under 2 dead girls in a bed. So he's got some problems. Okay. All good stuff. I'm glad that we're, kind of rehashing this. I'm getting my old spark for the Idaho 4 case again. And that's pretty cool to look at this from 9 months ago. But let's hear the rewind. Let's hear Steve say it again, and then we'll move on with the show here.
I'm going to just bring up some things about Bluetooth, and
I remember it was so COVID here.
How some of the Bluetooth stuff works.
Top and a couple of things. We couldn't even get them to give a list. So
of things that they had. And maybe it sounds stupid, but I don't really know why Kaylee's phone is evidence. Like, what is on? So it makes me think, what is on it?
Yeah, that makes you go cuckoo.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, what is on it?
Her speaker. It's kind of unusual item not to give back. The laptops, multiple laptops, not just one. All electronics, it seems like they've kept of hers. So, and her bake records, the amount of records on Kaylee was probably, I think fairly to say, was more than the other victims. So curious where that's going to come.
If we got like her wallet.
All right, I'm just going to stop this because I just kind of wanted to show that. It took me 20 minutes to find that. I screwed up the timestamp. But yeah.
So anyway, we'll go back to the timeline here. So we had January 3rd, 2023, Kohberger appears in court. You have, and that was in Pennsylvania. Then in the 4th, they extradited him back on the 4th because he wanted to go back to Idaho, Latah County. On the 5th, he makes his first appearance in the Idaho court and is held without bail. Another pretrial hearing is set for the 12th. And then we start going through the items that are seized from Kohberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington, which was like 10 to 15, like less than 10 to 15 minutes from 1122 King Road. And I could be wrong on that. It could be a little longer time link, but it was very close. It was very close. It could be there in a minute. And then we had in February 28th, 2023, they searched his parents' house. We jumped to March 13th. Now you have all of the discovery that starts coming out, seeking data from Amazon, Apple, social platforms, retail, court documents that are made public, banking information. We go, now we start getting all the pretrial hearings. We have Bethany Funk, who is one of the witnesses, agrees to interview the defense counsel. May 4th, body cam video starts showing up. Let's see, the 16th, grand jury returns an indictment against Kohberger on the murder charges, paving the way for an arraignment and a trial. So that's when his actual indictment was. We go through a lot of pretrial hearings, information. Let's see, July 4th, 2023, some families of the victims speak out against the Idaho plans to demolish 1122 King Road before the start of the fall semester on August 21st. And that was when the trial was supposed to start, and then it gets bumped, and it keeps getting bumped. And Kohberger waives his speedy trial rights. And this is the thing that I have to say, you know, as far as the I just lost my train of thought. I totally just lost my train of thought. But anyway, it will probably come back to me. So Lindsay's saying that I'm mixing fact with conjecture. So here's the thing. I just never said, this is the thing that I want to make sure that you understand. You're very clear, because I think I remember your name being here in my chat. But I just want to make this very clear to you. I did not say that it was on the record that his Bluetooth touched with Kaylee Goncalves' speaker. I just said it could be a possibility. It could be a possibility. I get it. There are Bryan Kohberger fan people out there. I understand that. And thank you for the $2, by the way. But if you were probably watching the beginning of my show and not coming in late, I said that it was a possibility that this could happen. That it could happen. And it probably will come out in trial with the digital data that was found in this case. And there are a lot of it. What was it? 52 terabytes? And it could be long. 51? It's been a while since I've gone over this. But there's a lot of digital information in this case to go through. Lots of videos, lots of photos, lots of digital information. So let's keep moving on. If you don't like it, you can leave. Goodbye. Just go. This is my show, my platform. I'll talk any way I want on it. Okay, let's keep moving on. So then we have July 12th, 2023, verse in the course, the Idaho now backs down from tearing down King Road, 1122 King Road. And we have and I'll just tell you this. Let's just get this out of the way. Y'all, the Kohberger fans here, let's just say this. For a guy that says he has nothing to do with this and that he cannot wait to get to the trial to prove to everybody that he did, what do you say? You look forward to be exonerated. Let me just put this out there. For a guy that looks forward to being exonerated, he sure loves sitting for a long time in jail cells. Because I'm going to tell you, if I didn't have anything to do with something, I would say this. Let's get the speedy trial on. I want to go to trial right now and prove my innocence. Why are we waiting so long? Why is this defense team delayed this and delayed it and delayed it? And now it's being moved. Now it's been moved to Boise. Why did they wait so long? Why did they not say, let's get this on? I don't know. 51 terabytes is a lot of evidence to go through. Seems like they got a lot of evidence on this guy. So why wait that long? I don't know. If I was innocent of something, I wouldn't want to sit in a jail cell for what? This has been over 2 years now. I'd probably say, I want to go home. I want to have the opportunity to get in that courtroom, my defense team, and prove that I did not do this. Or at least put up the evidence to show that I did not do this. Okay, let's get back up. Amanda, thank you so much. Blue looks good on you, B. Love your show. Thank you, Amanda. 1-month member. Appreciate that. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe innocent people like to sit in jail cells. I don't think so. I wouldn't want to be there for almost over 2 years sitting in a jail cell. This guy loves jail, believe me. So, probably want to get on the trial. Probably want to tell the world that I didn't do this. Why is it getting delayed? Why did they waive his speedy trial? Can you answer any of that? The Kohberger fans, I know you fawn over the guy. I know that you're going to say it's some wild thing, that it was some cult murder, that all the other students were involved in this, the tunnels. We've heard it all. Brent Kohberger. We've heard it all. I have the Brent Kohberger file. I've gone through it on my channel. Not one iota in that file says that he's involved with Bryan Kohberger, ever came in any contact with Bryan Kohberger. Oh, wait. That's right. That's where it will be the conspiracy, right? All right. Now that my rant is over. Listen, Lindsay, if you don't like it, you can leave. Actually, you know what? I'm going to help you out tonight. I'll make it real easy for you. Let's do this. I have the power. I have the power of the pen. I have the power of the pen. I have the power of the pen. Goodbye. Have a good night. Have a good night. All right, let's move on. All right, timeline. Gosh, it's going to be a late show. It's going to be a late show. Okay, let's see. August 23rd, 2023. Kohberger waives his his right to a speedy trial during an appearance in Latah County Court, where his legal team says it may not be ready for the October start date. They had so much time to go through this evidence and prepare. Now, a new date is not immediate decided. His lawyers also say they will file a motion to strike the death penalty and file a motion to strike the ban on the cameras in the courtroom. Why would they not want full transparency in this case? Why would they not want a camera on their innocent client? Tell me why. Oh, this feels good. I haven't done this in a while. I remember all the wackaloons come out. All the Bryan Kohberger wackaloons come out. It's been a while. October 31st, 2023. Federal investigators returned to King Road home to gather more evidence and create a replica of the residence that can be used during trial. And they use a scanning device. I forget the name of it off the top of my head. I think it's, let's see. Maybe one of my people know in the chat. I know it's, they'll probably drop it in there. But anyway, they go in and actually scan the whole house and do a 3D reconstruction of the whole Faro. It's a Faro machine, Faro scanner, Faro. I think I got that right. Let's see, Faro, F-A-R-O, Faro's digital scanner. Yes, it's like a $3,000 piece of equipment. It's probably more than, actually, no, it's a $50,000 piece of equipment. I was looking at the wrong one. Yeah, Faro, F-A-R-O. F-A-R-O. It's a $50,000 piece of equipment. So we move on here. We move on. Let's see. And then November 13, 2023, the 1 year marks the slayings with a vigil to honor the victims. We're going to move forward a lot of pretrial hearings. And then we have on December 28, 2023, the King Road house is demolished. Great. Just a couple days after Christmas. Why not? Right? Why not? March 1st, Goncalves and Canola families released a statement voicing their frustration after a judge at the hearing suggested the murder trial likely will not begin until 2025. No justice for these families. No justice for these families. More pretrial hearings. More documents. Now we're into, we'll just go way ahead here. September 12th. That's of this year. The Idaho Supreme Court orders the trial to be moved 300 miles from Latah County to Ada County, where the state capital of Boise is located. The case is expected to be reassigned to the district court judge, Stephen Hippler. On October 8th, Hippler, the new judge of the case, orders the trial to begin on August 11, 2025, and says that it could run about 3 months, including a penalty phase if needed. All right, that is the basic breakdown of the timeline. Let's get to a video here from Banfield on News Nation. It's not Banfield herself, but someone taking over.
News Nation's Brian Enton
Little
is in Boise. He was there for Kohberger's first Ada County appearance.
Laura, we're in Boise outside the Ada County Jail where Bryan Kohberger is tonight. He was in court for the first time here in Ada County. You remember he was previously in court in Latah County in Monroe, Idaho.
I am too. But you know what? This is my platform, and I can have a fucking opinion. I can have an opinion here. I can do it. I have an opinion here. I have an opinion. You have an opinion. This is my platform, and all the signs and all the evidence that I see here on the table. And I hope I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Point to Bryan Kohberger. Sorry. That's how I feel. My platform. All right, let's
where
go.
the crimes happened, but because
I haven't done one of these in a while.
It was moved
It's
here
a good
to
one.
Ada County, about 5 hours away. So he was in court here for the first time. It was interesting. It was a different vibe. You know, it's more of a big city courthouse. In Moscow, it was a very small courtroom. They would just bring him upstairs from the basement where his cell was. Here, it's a big courthouse. And there were a few interesting issues that came up during court. First of all, whether or not he can continue wearing a suit and tie to court and not an orange jumpsuit. The judge here allowed him to wear the suit and tie this first time, but said that moving forward, they are going to decide on a case-by-case basis before the hearings. He wanted to meet with security guards and sheriff's deputies and see if it was any kind of security risk before making a decision that he would get to wear the suit and tie every single time. Also, scheduling came up. The trial was set for June of 2025. The judge here in Boise is concerned that they might have a hard time finding jurors in the middle of the summer, since it's going to be a 2 to 3 month trial. Who wants to give up their entire summer? So they're discussing possibly changing the date. And as for the jail here, it's very different than Moscow. They only had about 38 cells in Moscow. Here, it's 1,000 bed jail, much bigger. We spoke to a bail bondsman who knows the jail well.
He's housed by himself. Unlike the other facility he was in North Idaho, Latah County, he does not have a TV. He's still let out the same hour a day, phones, TV, but he doesn't have access to the TV constantly like he did up there.
Yeah, because he had his own TV.
He did.
Yeah, so he doesn't have his own TV.
No.
Yeah, interesting. So what can he do to pass the time?
There's not much to do. Being locked down 23 hours a day, he just has to sit there. He looks forward to that 1 hour. I know when he was in Latah County, he loved watching himself on TV constantly. Some
As a
in the jail
fucking
say he was
sociopath.
infatuated with it, but he doesn't have that luxury in Ada County.
So definitely a different situation, Laura, for Bryan Kohberger in this jail, since it's so big. The fact that he doesn't really have any contact with any other inmates, no other inmates even walk by, we're told, and no TV. So perhaps he would have preferred to stay in Moscow, at least when it comes to the jail. Listen to a little more of what that.
Well, he likes
told
jail.
us.
He likes
I
sitting
don't
in jail.
believe he has access to any of the other inmates. I've heard that in Latah County he did, not housed with anybody else, but they would come in passing, and he doesn't have that in Ada County. I don't think anybody's really had contact with him. There's more room in that jail to move somebody around without having contact needed with other inmates.
Yeah, because we know in Latah you
of
could hear
course.
other people or they would walk by. So that's not
Anthony, of course. This is all about stalling, as I said. And that's why, like, the people that come here, and I love it. They come out from the woodwork. The Bryan, they love him. There's no way he could have done this and this and that. Listen. If I'm an innocent person, that's been accused of a crime, you fight it and say, let's get on with it. Why are we delaying? Why do we keep moving it? Why are we putting these motions in to stall things? Why? That has to make you think. I would just say, let's go. I got Shit, I'll get up on the stand and say, I wasn't there. I was at the gas station and here's my receipt. Oh, what's his alibi? Oh, we was driving around. Just driving around that night. Wanted to look at the stars, stargazing. Who the fuck does that? I mean, I get it. There's people out there, they might be depressed, they might be sad. Maybe they're people, they're night owls, they take a ride, driving around. I was just driving around. It's like taking a long drive, looking at the stars. How fun. Yeah, and ironic, you were just around in the area where the fucking murders happened, right? All right, let's keep playing.
He's here.
No.
For him, do you think he would
Marina,
rather be
thank you
here
so much
in
for the
Ada County in the
$10.
jail or in Latah County?
I think he kind of got a shock coming here. He probably didn't realize how big of a facility it is.
Oh, I gotta recognize this. Heather, thank you so much. 12-month membership. Said, been here longer. Proud of you, Bryan. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate it. You've been here since the Idaho conversations when I used to do Idaho. Yes, Mizzy in the house. Look at this. Mizzy says, Bryan is extra spicy tonight. I am. This shit drives me crazy. It brings out the craziest. It brings out all the Kohberger lovers. This is why I love doing these streams, because they come out, they try to attack you, and then you ask them, like, can you just like tell me why this? And they have no answer for it. You know, they have no answer. And then they just go, oh, well, you know, he's innocent until proven. I get that. I get it. But I can have an opinion here. This is my platform. I have the microphone. I hold the power right here. It's the power of the pen. It's my microphone. And I can scream into it all I want and just say, it's my platform. I'm going to say whatever I want. You can either watch me. You don't have to watch me. All right, let's keep
Spending
playing.
over 500 days in Latah County, where
Yeah,
it houses 38 inmates. I think he would probably rather go back there and have his TV.
So again, another big difference here is in Moscow, Kohberger was kept in the basement of the courthouse, which is where the small jail is. Here, they have to take him from the Ada County Jail, and it's quite a drive all the way downtown to the courthouse.
Of course it
I
is.
wanted to show you what that's like, what it's like here, and then what happens when he gets to the courthouse. Take a look at this, Laura. This is the Ada County Jail in Boise, Idaho. It's a massive complex, takes up a couple of blocks out here. Big difference from the jail where Bryan Kohberger was in Latah County, Idaho, in Moscow. Remember that little jail underneath the courthouse where they kept him? Well, this place is massive here in Boise, more than 1,000.
Oh, by the way, Mizzy is going to be here on Thursday evening. I'll be having a show with Mizzy. We'll be talking about updates in the Sandra Birchmore trial. She will be here live in studio. So I can't wait to sit side by side with her, talk a little Sandra Birchmore and everything else that's been going on in the Massachusetts scene down here. So, all right, let's keep playing here.
Inmate beds. There's 6 different dorm units, we're told. 4 for men, 2 for women, and they've got 88 specialized beds for maximum security prisoners.
No, actually, it belongs to me.
When they would bring Kohberger up to
actually
court,
belongs to
pretty
me.
Easy, just
it's
up a
my
flight of stairs
business. It's my business. It's my business.
Into the courtroom, but here in Boise,
Cheers.
he has quite a bit of
Okay,
drive
cheers.
from the jail to the
Cheers.
courthouse. It's about 3.5 miles.
I love it. They come out of the woodwork.
Right
Look.
through town. And this is where
Love it. They all come out of the woodwork. Every time a Kohberger stream comes up, they all come out to attack. I love it. Cheers. Okay, cheers.
Kohberger will go into the courthouse. You can see it's a much bigger courthouse.
I gotta do
than
more
in
of these.
Moscow,
These are
Idaho. They've got this back entrance. It says restricted area. It's gated. They take the vans from the jail right down that driveway into that garage, and Kohberger will go inside without anyone even noticing. All right, so in terms of what happens next here in Boise, we know the judge is planning to talk to the defense and also the prosecution about that trial date. The judge, again, didn't seem too keen on having it right in the middle of the summer, so they can either have it before the summer, possibly after the summer. The defense has raised some objections saying, look, they don't even know that they would be ready for summer, let alone before. So we're just going to have to wait and see on which date actually shakes out.
Thanks for watching.
All right.
Go to join.
All right, let's get to Nancy Grace. All right, I want to watch this because this is new updated information with Steve Goncalves. He gave this interview about 4 nights ago. We're going to have to get through Bryan Kohberger, but it is good information. I kind of skimmed through this last night, and I'm excited to watch through this fully with all of you. Lauren says, I got all the coffin nuffins lies about this case from the beginning, so now I have to stop. Do you know, I bet you all don't know this. Do you know? Oh boy, I'm going to eat shit on this one. Jennifer Kohberger was on my channel before. She actually came over and talked the Idaho 4 murders with me. She was a special guest. She actually was the first kind of, special guest person that I ever had on my panel. You can actually go back and watch that live. And then when I started to do a little bit more research on her, and Harry's going to kill me in the chat. Then when I started to do a little more research on her and found out her filthy ways, my opinion about Jennifer Kohberger changed. But yeah, she actually was one of my first official guests on my show. Yes, you all don't. I've talked about that a million times. You can go back and watch the stream. I think it was like an hour. It was over a year ago now. But yeah, I had her on. I was a rookie. Yes, I was a rookie. All right, dude. I was a rookie. All right, let's get to this. Excuse me. This interview on Nancy Grace with Steve Goncalves, the most updated information of how the Goncalves family is doing, how they're feeling, and with this move to Boise. Oh boy, we're gonna have to listen to Nancy for an hour.
Breaking news tonight: the Bryan Kohberger trial.
Kohberger.
Joining us tonight, Kaylee Goncalves' father is with us live. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace. This is Crime Stories. Thank you for being with us.
My niece called, and she was very frantic, and she was asking me if I had talked to Kaylee. Kaylee's phone goes directly to voicemail. Start playing Maddie. Nobody's answering. It's ringing. So we turn on the TV and we see live news coverage.
I know. But it's good information because it's with the family. I want to hear what Steve has to say, because this again is the most updated information, and we'll get through it. I promise. I know. But I want to hear what Steve has to say.
Kaylee and Maddie are both dead. A quadruple homicide.
News came in that the police are responding to a call of someone found unconscious. That's the call that originally came in, and then they responded, and then they found the 4 additional bodies, the 4 bodies of these students inside the home. It was originally a call not pertaining to 4 dead bodies, but that's what they found when they entered the home. It was shocking news to hear, especially coming from just the most quiet town.
That's fine.
You were just hearing investigative reporter Ava Wainhouse. At the very beginning.
Anna, thank you so much. Look at this 9-month member. Look at that. I love that. Free Karen Reed says it is your channel and we love it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We will all get through Nancy Grace tonight, I promise. But I want to hear what Steve has to say, because I think there's a lot of good updated information in this, how the family is doing, how they feel about the move to the court, the new courthouse. We'll get through it. We'll have some fun. We'll get through it. And I think this will be really, really good to listen to this. So again, I haven't done an Idaho stream in a while. I love it. They all come out to attack. I love it. All right, let's go here.
Beginning, we didn't even understand what had happened. Yeah. At the beginning, when police were called to the King Road address,
15 months.
No one knew what was to unfold. As the news unfolded, it got worse and worse and worse. And that is for us on the outside looking in. Joining me tonight is a very special guest, Steve Goncalves.
Jeff H. Look at this. Jeff.
This is
Jeff, what's up, buddy? How are you? Jeff's a good guy. Jeff was around way. I love it. All the old names have come out. It's good. I knew I'd pull out some of the older people that used to be here in the chat. Jeff, it's good to see you in the chat. Really good to see you as well. Listen, I want to make sure that you understand this, okay? And I think I'm going to take the opportunity to do this really quick. I know, and I hope, look at everybody knows Jeff. Look, it's good. Jeff, I want to make sure that you get a message out there if you have contact with this person. I know that myself and Detective John had a very large falling out when I started covering Turtle Boy and the Karen Reed case. Him and I did not see eye to eye. I respectively moved on, but I do know, and I want to send my condolences. If you do still talk to DJ, let him know. I know that he had a death in his family. He lost a son, and I want to take this opportunity to let him know and send him my condolences, because I would not want to see that happen to anybody. So if you do still have contact with him, please pass that along. Aside from our differences, it is heartfelt, and I do mean it. And so, wow, it's taken me a long time to kind of say that and get that off my chest, but I do want to let him know. So if you do have any contact, please let him know. And I hope that he's doing well, and, you know, take the time to heal with his family. So, all right, let's keep moving on here.
Steve, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. I appreciate you supporting these kids.
I really don't even know how to take that.
Oh,
because I don't know who in the world could not support you and your family and Kelly and the other children. There were children that were killed that night. I just want you to know before
awesome.
we
Thank
start
you, Jeff.
that
well, again, I know people have their thoughts. He came at me at certain times. I have no ilk wilk in that. I don't wish that upon anybody. It's not like I'm going to like run to him. We're going to be best friends again, but I just want to make sure that he understands, you know, I do, you know, wish him well and his family. That's a very tough thing to go through to lose a son. I don't have kids, but I can only imagine, you know, what that is. And again, everybody has their opinion about John, but in that sense, if there's a little piece there, if we can create a little peace between us, you know, I wish him the best, and I hope he's healing with his family. All right, let's keep playing through here.
you and your wife and your family are the objects of so many prayers. I know it's hard for a lot of people that have never suffered as a crime victim to identify or to relate to what you're going through, but I know from firsthand experience that it's horrible and that it never goes away. And I look at you as you speak to the press, as you go about your life, and I've got to tell you, I am in so much awe and admiration about how you continue forward, how you put one foot
we'll get through it, I
in front of
promise.
the other, and
Well,
you
the
get up
healing
every
session
day
after.
and you keep going and you keep fighting.
That's all right. I know what you meant.
You were mentioning earlier how people ask you, hey, how did it turn out? What do you mean by that, Steve?
We have a Facebook page, so we've garnered attention from other countries, and I guess maybe from those countries, a perspective of 2 years, they assume.
I'm gonna read this again. You know, Jeff and I have some history together, and Jeff, it's good to see you here in the chat. I hope you're doing well too, and it's nice to see you still around on YouTube. And really, it really is nice to see you pop over here. I think, gosh, it's been probably over a year since I had seen you in the chat. But Jeff H says, beyond us all being YouTubers, when it comes to a loss in the family, most set aside all that other stuff. I'm sure he knows your heart too, Bryan. There were good times too. Maybe they'll return. And I like that, Jeff. That's very nice of you to say that. Again, all things aside, you know, the YouTube stuff, all in the end, it's the human element of that. And, you know, I heard about that many, many months ago, and I felt bad. You know, I wouldn't want to go through that and see anybody family go through that. Considering what we talk about on these shows, you know, we talk about a lot of loss, and we talk about families, and, you know, we're talking about, I call them kids, but they're in their 20s. They're kids. And, you know, that's, you know, what we're doing here tonight. And again, you know, just let them know. my heartfelt condolences. I hope he's doing well. I wouldn't want to go through anything like that. So anyway, let's keep playing on here.
It's
Thank
over.
you, Jeff. Appreciate
They
it.
assume that we're done, so they'll chime
Get
in,
off
they'll
my brother.
comment,
My
they'll send us
brother's suicide.
messages and ask us how
I know.
did it turn out? You know, people have their own lives, they're running around doing their own things, and then they catch back up. They're like, oh yeah, what happened there in America? And they reach out to us directly because we've opened up those lines of communication, and we have to tell them it hasn't even started. We have not even got to a schedule yet.
You know, when you say it hasn't even started, I've got to tell you, going through the trial is going to be pure hell, and you know that, in addition to what you've already been through. I wonder how you and your family feel as you see other cases hit the headline and take away focus from what you know to be the most important case there is. I remember when my fiance was murdered, I felt like I had stepped off the world. And I look back, and amazingly, the world was still spinning. People were still going to work. People were still going out to nightclubs and movies and out to dinner. And I think
I met Vinnie Politan. That was awesome. Got my picture taken with him when he was up here doing the Karen Reed stuff in Massachusetts. That was pretty cool.
It's just too much for me to take in because my world had stopped. I couldn't hear music. I couldn't even hear the clocks ticking in the house. It just, no TV, nothing. Everything had to stop. And I've been wondering how you deal with the fact that seemingly the world is marching on.
Yeah. You're reminded of that every day you wake up, and you need to get up and go to work, and you have all these pressing issues. So yeah, it's part of the reason why we're fighting is to make sure that my daughter's case is going to get the right people and the right attention, and then, you know, the right resolution. So you think it's a guarantee in America, but I think those times have changed. I think you really have to come up and you have to say something, and you have to get people involved. And I've heard that from other people who have cases that were never solved, or they wish they could have gone back and picked up that phone or opened up that door where there was people, you know, knocking on their doors trying to get the inside story. So I knew with my child there wasn't anything I wouldn't have done to you know, make sure that I was talking and getting that information out and getting people's attention, that we can't allow people to go to school, go to college, and be killed in their sleep from some outsider. You know, there's terrible things going on, but a complete.
Real quick, if you haven't seen, I'll just show you really quick. That's me and Vinny. Look at that. That's pretty cool. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me, Cam. It wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, it's me and Vinny when Vinny was up here doing the Karen Reed stuff. All right, let's go back to this. Thank everybody for being here. I appreciate it. We're going to just keep pedaling along here.
Each stranger, hunting your child down and getting them while they're sleeping is just, you can't get that through your head that that's even possible.
Mr. Goncalves, what you just said has been my theory from about day 3, hunting them down. Because people always ask, of course, as you know now, the state doesn't have to prove a motive, but practically speaking, a jury will want to know a motive. And I believe with all of my heart, from what we know now, and that may change as the trial progresses, that the victims were hunted down. There is no motive that we can understand, normal people can understand. I think you're right, Mr. Goncalves. I think they were hunted and stalked and watched. Now, I know the state came out in court and said there's no evidence of stalking. And I take that to mean in the legal sense, like sending Kelly emails or letters or leaving things at her doorstep, just showing up at her work, trying to date her. I don't think it's stalking in that sense, the way we normally think.
I'm in a studio now. I don't know if you saw, but I got a fully built out studio, man. Reach out to me. Yeah, I'll drop my email address in here. I'll send you some photos. I'm actually getting ready to move into a larger room. My email address should drop here in a second. Reach out to me. I'll send me a quick email and I'll send you some photos. Let's talk live podcast at gmail.com. All right, let's keep
Think
playing.
of it.
I love that everybody.
I think it was more, as you said, hunting.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I'm trying to be careful how I describe some of the things that is out there, but yeah, this is a criminologist. This is somebody who spent, probably a century studying law and getting the ins and outs. This person knows there cannot be a direct connection, an easy direct connection. That's how everyone gets caught. So you got to reverse engineer it back to what he was doing and the steps.
I think what she's saying is that Kohberger wasn't like sending letters, knocking on the door, showing up unannounced. He was secretly doing this, just like a friggin' serial killer, a sociopath. Watched them for a while, chose his victims, and then pounced on the right opportunity, planned this all out and pounced. And there was really no indication. That's why it came so out of left field. I think that's what she's saying, Scott.
He was taken. I think this will go all the way back to his Pennsylvania home in his actual room.
Right.
You're going to find out that he planned this murder from that actual location, and he left Pennsylvania with a thought and a motivation to go out and kill someone.
I've watched those streams.
Steve, you are bringing up a lot of evidentiary implications with what you just said. I think what you're saying is entirely possible. So you believe, and I understand you are not divulging your source. You believe, and I'm interpreting, that Kohberger was at Pullman, and upon going back home before he started school, he had locked into your daughter.
I don't know if he locked into the actual victims. I just know that there's signs that point to this individual had a lot of troubled past, and I believe they're going to show that this crime started back there. I think they're going to be able to prove that he thought and planned and strategized this murder and came out here, picked a community. I even think, this is my own personal feeling, I think he picked this area because of some previous killers in this area. And I think he came out here thinking that he was going to outdo them. He was going to be that type of killer.
Wow.
The Northwest has a history of some pretty prevalent
Did they get the
mass
DP?
murder.
Did they get the DP off the table? Yeah, that's right. They didn't get it off. I thought they did. Like I said, I haven't done this in a while. I haven't gone through this case in a while. Yeah, it is a DP case. Yeah, he'll get the firing squad. No, Anthony. Let me squash that. That's right. They didn't manage to get the DP off the. They didn't manage to get the DP. This is a DP case. It will be the firing squad. Yeah, thank you. I thought they did. I thought they successfully, but they didn't. So I was wrong on that. I come corrected. Like I said, it's been a while since I've gone through this. Thank you, everybody, for correcting me in the chat. All right, let's
killers. And I think
either way,
came out here with an idea and a notion that he was going to show them how to do it.
I don't think there's any question, Mr. Goncalves,
that I haven't seen before.
He was motivated. And of course, I'm just a trial lawyer and a crime victim. I'm not ashamed.
That's right. They did.
I don't think there's any question that His attack, and of course he's presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. His attack was motivated by his bizarre interest in criminals, the criminal mind, and criminology. It could have been a desire to know what it feels like to murder someone. I don't know the motivation, and frankly don't care about the motivation. I care only about motive as it relates to what a jury will want to hear. That's all I would care about, because to me it doesn't matter why he did it. It matters that he did it. Question to you, and I know you've been asked this before. How did the whole thing start for you? When, where, how did you learn something horrible had happened?
We were sitting at home as a family. Almost everybody was here. Olivia was just living down in Southern California, but everyone else was here. We were watching a football game, and the phone rang, and we heard that something was going on. As a father of 5 kids, I can't tell you how many times we think something bad's happened, and we can't find one of the kids, and they're just hiding underneath the table or something. So you try to stay calm, and you try to tell yourself that this is just some rumor, something that's been blown out of proportion. Maybe there was some type of accident, but it's not like what it's been described to you. So you just sit there and you start getting active. We all started grabbing computers, laptops, and started searching. And then we did see that, King Road, it's on King Road. So then we're thinking it's a bad fight, some kind of quarrel between a relationship of something. The things that you typically hear out here in Idaho, where, you're going to have those types of fights and those type of news stories, but you're never thinking it's going to be a homicide of 4 people. That just doesn't go there. And I don't think we even understood what happened for weeks. We were just in a daze, like what you're describing. Like I couldn't even hear music. Music stopped harmonizing. Things just don't make sense anymore. You're just broken, and you're just trying to figure out who's responsible and what you're going to do about it, and how you're going to get to hold them accountable and figure out the truth. I really needed to know the truth. And since that day, we've been on a mission to make sure that we do everything to get to the bottom of this.
All right, let me pause this, because everybody was asking about what is a firing squad. Well, I will show you. This is what it looks like.
During execution by firing squad, the inmate is strapped to a specially designed chair. A patch is put over his heart, and his head is covered with a black hood.
Again, this is going to be, you're probably not going to show it, but again, it's a rendering. This is a demonstration for educational purposes. We'll back up again. We'll play this here.
By firing squad, the inmate is strapped to a specially designed chair. A patch is put over his heart, and his head is covered with a black hood. 5 anonymous shooters stand 25 feet away from the inmate and use 30 caliber Winchester rifles. Each executioner fires 1 shot. One of the guns fires blanks, so the executioners cannot be sure if they killed the inmate. The majority of U.S. states permit capital punishment. Lethal injection is authorized in 32 states. Electrocution is authorized in 8 states. The gas chamber is still used in Arizona, Missouri, and Wyoming.
That's it. That's what it looks like. All right, let's get back to Nancy Grace. But I'm just more interested in hearing Steve Goncalves speak. All right, let's go.
Steve, I remember when I first learned on the phone from Keith's sister that he was dead. First of all, I didn't believe it. I thought there had been an accident of some sort. And if I could just get there really quickly, I could fix it. I could talk to the doctors. I could talk to the EMT somehow. I didn't even know where he was. And I remember not believing he was dead until I was reading upside down what my pastor was writing. It said Bernstein Funeral Home. Then it started kind of dawning on me, and I assumed it had been an accident until he told me that Keith had been murdered, shot. When you first got that call, Mr. Goncalves, what were you told that allowed you to think, well, there's been some misunderstanding, there's been an accident, I'm going to find out what's really happening? Like she's hiding under the table, like when she did when she was little. What were you told to make you think, okay, I can fix this, I'm going to find out what's happening?
Yeah, exactly. Los Angeles. Exactly.
You know, I have so many other children around me that were in so much pain that I really didn't have a lot of time to even think about myself. I grew up on a football team all the way up to college, and your coach is just pounding your head that it's not about you, it's about your team, it's about the people around you. So I kind of just turned myself off and then just focused on all these kids that were in pain. And then I said, I'm kind of old fashioned. So I just said, you know what, guys, we have to pick up the phone. We have to figure out what happened. You need to call all of her friends. And that's what they did. They got out on social media. They started finding everything. And that's when it became, it still wasn't real though. It wasn't real because I know my girls. I know Maddie. These are like some of the sweetest, most gentle souls that you've ever met. So gentle people don't get murdered. It's just not, it's not something that even makes sense to you. So I don't know when it actually became real. I know when you talk about going to the funeral, I remember thinking just how appalling the whole thing was and how gross it was and how I had to go into this place and I'm conducting business. That's where I switched. I can't be a victim. I'm one of those guys that was like, I'm going to turn this on whoever did this, and I'm coming for them, and I'm going to get them, and we're going to bring wrath on this individual. And if that means I got to wake up at 4 a.m. and do interviews and talk to people and work with willing people, strangers, become friends, then that's what we did. That's what we're doing right now. To this day, I'm still trying to connect dots with anyone who's listening, and that includes the prosecution team, whoever wants to pick up the phone and reach out to us if they have something. We're still here. We're still collecting data.
When everything originally happened, the lack of confirmation, at first it was rumors of murder, suicide, that was ruled out. Things like that, when you live in a small college town, it hurts to not know exactly. And even 48 hours later, when we were still on scene, students were feeling like they wanted more from local authorities and especially wanted more for the families of the victims.
I'm going to pause here.
Please join us on our mission to...
Just going to speed up the commercial. How's everybody doing so far? Make sure to smash that like button. Started off a little spicy tonight. I knew it would bring out the Kohberger, bringing out the Kohberger. The Kohberger fans came out at first. I knew it would. It always does. But let's keep playing through here. Make sure to smash the like button. We got about almost 300 people in here. I'm feeling good. We got a small audience in here tonight. Feels good, but we're we're pushing along here.
Changed venues to Ada County in hopes of a fair trial. What's next for the suspected Idaho student's killer?
Just around 3 a.m. In fact, it might have been even a little earlier, a man named Bryan Christopher Kohberger was taken into custody in Albrightsville, Pennsylvania. That is nearly 3,000 miles away. In fact, much more than 2,500 miles away from the crime scene here in Moscow, Idaho.
That's right. Arrested.
Can you hear me now? Oh, thank you. So what I was saying, it was, I started out a little spicy. I knew it would bring back the Bryan Kohberger lovers, which we saw a couple of those in here. And it's nice. It's nice to see, 300 people in here tonight, and bringing back some of the old crew that, was my base when I first started talking about true crime. All the people here that used to watch me on the Idaho stream. So it's nice to be here. And I hope everybody's enjoying this. Amanda, thank you for the $2. We got sound now. Thank you. The Slow Burgers. Yes. And Loaded's been here a long time too. He's a long time subscriber. All right. I promise we will get through this about another half an hour tonight. Thank you all for being here. Again, I'm a little rusty. I got the DP wrong. But I thought they did get that off the table, but I am wrong on that. So I do apologize. I come corrected. It's been a while since I've done this. So, all right, let's keep going.
3,000 miles away from the crime scene at King Road, the spot where Steve Goncalves believes the murder plan was actually hatched. Who is Bryan Kohberger? Well, we can come up with all the theories we want, but I want you to see Kohberger on video. Now, this is after a female traffic cop. I want to emphasize a lady cop had pulled him over for a traffic violation. Watch this.
It's so dramatic.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
so even if you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines. Like there's one white line and there's another one.
Yeah, the ticket video. Yep.
Like a certain
yeah.
margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when you don't, when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah. I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I can find it for you.
He seems normal. He's actually challenging the lady cop on her knowledge of the traffic law and actually has her look up the law. Listen.
Okay, so I found it. So I don't know what in Pennsylvania where you go to find laws, but in Washington it's called the Revised Code of Washington. So I'll try to turn my brightness up, but it's just called an RCW. So it's RCW 46.61.202. So it's no driver shall enter an intersection unless there is significant space on the other side of the intersection to accommodate the vehicle he is operating without obstructing the passage of other vehicles, despite any traffic control signal indications.
And it goes on and on and on. Joining us tonight live is the dad of Kelly Goncalves. Steve is with us, but to Dr. Bethany Marshall joining us, renowned psychoanalyst out of Beverly Hills, author of Deal Breaker. You can see her now on Peacock. Dr. Bethany, we see not only that and the dismissive treatment, the challenging of the lady officer. His car is in the crosswalk while people are trying to cross. Okay, simple, easy. But then we fast forward to helping out, and I'm putting that in quotes, a female colleague with her home security video when he actually hooks it up so he can watch her.
Here's something interesting too that I've always been very, very curious about. There was a stop, and it's documented. It's in the court documents, and I remember it was in August. It was in August of 2022. Kohberger had been stopped for another violation. There's no body cam footage of it, but they say in the document that he was detained. Now, this has always been very interesting to me, and I don't know if anybody has ever confirmed this or not. But when I look up the definition of detained, you are being held. Now, I've watched thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of body cam footage. And when I see when police say you are being detained, what usually happens? and I'll wait to see if someone can get it in the chat. When you're detained by an officer, what do they usually do? Okay, not arrested officially, right? You are cuffed. Thank you. And I've watched hours of footage, and there are people that have sworn that they said, no, he was never cuffed. I mean, you can go watch body cam. You're being detained. I'm not arresting you, but I'm detaining you. They put you in cuffs. So I wonder why he was detained. I wonder why he was handcuffed. That's very interesting. That's always been something that has really baffled me about this too. So they thought, maybe there was some suspicion that he was up to something, and he was in and around 1122 King Road at that time. And then obviously August to November is when the murders happened. So interesting, right? Interesting. All right, let's keep playing on here. I love the interaction.
Changing
tonight.
clothes, going to the bathroom, who comes to her front door, sitting on the sofa, watching TV. I mean, it goes from one thing to the next regarding women. We see him being asked to leave bars because he freaks women out, walking up to them saying, hey, what's your...
Yeah, let me just do a quick Google search. I'll get it for you. Let's see. He was pulled over. I think it's actually in the PCA, and I don't have it in front of me. Let's see. And it's going to take me a while to find this. So I'm going to kind of interrupt the flow of the show here. Let's see. Let me pull it up real quick. I think it's in the original affidavit. Let's see. Am I showing my screen? Perfect. Maybe someone has it in the chat. Right here. October 14, 2000. It was in October. It wasn't August. On October 14, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was detained as part of a traffic stop by WSU police officer. Upon review of that body cam report, Kohberger was the sole occupant of the drive of the white. So is that must be this stop? So I got that wrong again. So that must be the stop that we just watched. So again, this case file is a little foggy on me. Someone said page 13. Let's go up again. Page 13. Let's see. I don't see it. Let me see. Farm Road and Highway where he was pulled over. Let's see. I think he was pulled over twice before the murders. He was. Detained is anytime you're not free to leave. Okay, so I could be wrong. Was he cuffed? We don't know. But every time I've saw detained, you've been cuffed. But he was stopped, I know, a couple times before. Again, I'd have to go back and look at the case file. It's been a little while. It's been like a year since I've looked over it. He wasn't detained in the stop we just watched, though. Yeah, he wasn't detained in that. But I know before that he was stopped a couple times in and around King Road. Let me see. 31st. All right, yeah. One of the occasions on October 21st, 2022, 804-58 phone utilized the cellular resource providing coverage to King Road residents approximately. Kohberger was stopped by the Latah County Sheriff, Deputy CPL Duke, as mentioned above. The 845 phone was utilizing cell resources consistent with the locations of the traffic stop during the time. All right, so he wasn't detained. He was just stopped during that stop. So again, I've got a little of my stuff mixed up here, and I apologize. It's been a while since I've looked at this affidavit, but he was stopped on August. So I got August right, but I didn't get detained. It said detained in the October stop, but it didn't look like he was detained in that video. He wasn't being handcuffed. So again, could be wrong on the definition of detained. I always thought when I saw detained, you're in cuffs. You're not free to go. So they're checking something out. All right, let's go back to Nancy Grace. Try to get through the rest of this. And I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you. Corporal.
Your home
Thank you.
address. It's just on and on and on with him and women. I'm curious as to how that played in to him fixing on Kelly.
Nancy, for psychopaths, which he most certainly is, sex and violence are fused. They are considered one and the same. They go hand in hand. So with the female cop, we can see that he's lying prolifically. He says there are no crosswalks in his state. He's fascinated by the law because that is the thing that gives him proximity to thinking about crimes. A man who wants to commit murder will surround himself with criminality. But to answer your question, I've always felt that these girls are so beautiful and lovely that he wanted to eradicate something good.
You know, when we think about what
LV thinks the stop
Dr.
and is
Bethany
really important.
just said, the aspect, Steve,
There is
which I
truth to
know
that.
no one likes to think about,
Was Kaylee,
but
I
proving
believe.
this case will require this. The lying in wait aspect. There's no question about.
Jonathan, I'm not spreading misinformation, okay? I know you like to fact check me. I got your fucking email. I really don't care, okay? I know that you love to come in my chat and do this, okay? So if you want me to email you back about the DA's office and the Mass State Police, they work together, dude. They work together. State Police works with the DA's office. I got your email. I get it. I know this is what you like to do. You like to come in the chat and do this and try to come in and fact check everybody. Listen, man, it's a live show. I'm not a fucking lawyer, okay? I've never worked in law enforcement, okay? I'm just giving you my opinion. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch, okay? If you want to have a personal phone call with me and talk about David Meyer, have at it. I get it. He's got, I know his credentials. He's one of the most greatest criminal trial lawyers in Massachusetts. He may be, okay? But my point is, in the earlier show that we talked about the other night, Enrique Delgado Garcia, that Dave Myers worked with the state police. He was in the DA's office. I don't know why you can't understand that. They did. They worked together. That's what the DA does. Oh, man, all the crazy
Yes,
come
the
out
state
tonight.
has said in open court there's no evidence of stalking. But we know his phone turned up along that strip behind the King Road address multiple times. We know he was watching the house and your daughter.
Yeah. For people who aren't familiar with this area, you don't just randomly take a right turn and find yourself in another state. You purposely have to drive and take like, at one time we looked it up. It was like 15 different intersections and turns to get from Pullman to anywhere close to where these girls in Nathan were.
Holy
so it's
shit,
just
man.
not like a
All the crazy
random,
come
oh,
out
I just
tonight.
took wrong turn
You gonna
here
write me
and I
another
found
email
myself
tonight?
in another state.
You're gonna write me another email and fact check me. You said all this wrong stuff. Is that what you do? You go to all these YouTube channels and you try to point out all this stuff. You said this. You didn't talk about this. That's pretty boring. It's a boring life.
In a town that I'm not familiar with. This person was very familiar with those areas, and there's not a lot of real reasons why he should be over in those areas that often. And I'm sure that is going to be dug into quite deeply once we get into trial time.
It's a full moon coming.
When I think about the number of times that we know of, I wonder how many times are there that we don't know of
What it is, Clarissa.
that he was in that area watching that house. I heard Dr. Bethany say something about him. It's hard for regular people like us to relate to what I'm about
Probably
to say.
already emailed me.
a person that wants to eradicate, destroy something good. Steve, tell me about your daughter, my girl and boy, you know, I have twins, the same age. And I can't imagine why someone would want to hurt them. Tell me about Kelly.
Kaylee was a beautiful friend. She got along with everyone. We never even had to ever have any kind of conflict with the school or teacher or anything along those lines. So, and Maddie, I know Maddie exactly was the same type of person. So I feel like if you are a corrupted soul and you want to strike out at society, you're going to look for somebody who is going to matter, somebody that the world looks at and says, that's a beautiful person. That's who I want to be like. That's the pinnacle of achieving being a good human being. So I think that in the end is what made them targets. It was their beauty, their smile.
Real quick, let me just get this up. I know it came in the topic in the chat here. It says this is from 48 Hours. This is back on June 30th, 2024. Idaho student murder suspect Bryan Kohberger followed victims on Instagram, says the family. So it hasn't been 100% confirmed in a court document. I think someone just said that in the chat. But it says among never-ending questions surrounding November 2022 murders of the Idaho students, Kaylee Goncalves, in an affidavit outlining the case, investigators say DNA, cell phone records, let's see, criminologist, CBA. I want to just see. But Kaylee Goncalves' parents, Steve and Christy, believe they have proof of a connection. In the minutes after learning Kohberger's name, Christy Goncalves says, we went online immediately and started Googling. Steve Goncalves adds he had a PhD. He was a PhD student in Washington. They told us, we're like, PhD, what the heck is going on? Who? Let's see. And this is the screenshot. Stephen Christie talked to 48 Hours correspondent Peter Van Zandt for the night of the Idaho student murder, streaming now on Paramount. They say they discovered digital evidence they say showed the tie to Kohberger to the two victims. It says here, the Goncalves family provided 48 Hours with screenshots of an Instagram account they believe belonged to Bryan Kohberger. Those screenshots included what said is Kohberger's Instagram profile and list people he was following, including Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Goncalves. So again, it's not verified, but I think that account was pulled after he was arrested, if I remember, and go back, remember all that. The other weird thing was the Facebook posts that were going on in one of the Kohberger groups that was literally like saying stuff that was all adding up to the case.
The way they treated others, they played by the rules, doing things the way that you want your children and you raise your children to do. So in a way, he was striking out when it was a statement he was making when he picked them. I don't like him looking like he did a white collar crime. This isn't
it was a hoax
crime, people. This is
Thank
people,
you for clarity.
You work your whole life to get them to
Yeah,
go
it was
to
like a
college.
military account, remember?
Everybody has a dream of their children going to college. You trust the community, you trust the school, you send them off, and then they get killed while they're asleep that night
in their beds. You know?
And we're going to treat this guy like he just traded insider trading of his own company stocks. It's not white collar. The person who did this crime looked at one of the victims and said, I'm here to help you. If that's not malice, that's the most type of evil that
like I said, I mean, I haven't done this in probably a year. I'm really rusty and I apologize. But I just wanted to go over, the newest Steve Goncalves interview. I know I've gotten some stuff wrong and I've been corrected and I get it. It happens. There's so much. I mean, I've been engulfed in Karen Reed for the last year and then trying to come back and do this. It's been a while. So you get dates and times and stuff like that and mixed up. So anyway, we'll press on here. Appreciate everybody being here. It's been a while. We've got about another 20 minutes or so.
you could ever hear of.
15 minutes or so.
That shouldn't be rewarded with a suit.
And a fresh haircut every time and a clean
vegan meal.
shaven.
That's wild.
Oh, wow.
That's wild.
We've been told that he does have shackles around his knees or whatnot, but it's like, that's I don't want it to be hidden.
You are hearing Mr. and Mrs. Goncalves, the parents of Katie Goncalves, speaking out to Steve
Inside looking.
Goncalves
Yep.
joining us tonight.
Remember
This
that
is
too.
Kelly's father. What do you make of Kohberger's
He's
new
already
look with his looks kind of metrosexual, and apparently there.
So we have just do me a favor. One of my moderators has emailed Jonathan. I generally don't appreciate the email you had I didn't listen. I'm going to make this really, really quick for you, Jonathan. I'll make this really, really quick for you. How the hell can I tell one of my moderators to email you why I'm on a live show? Did I even say that on my show? Why are you even watching me? Why are you even watching me? If you don't like me, then don't watch me. Turn it off. Go watch someone else. But I didn't tell one of my moderators to fucking email you. So moderators, please don't give this guy anything. Don't reach out to him. Don't email him. Leave him alone because that's what he wants. But dude, get over yourself. Get over yourself. If you don't like what I do, start your own platform and rant. I don't know what to tell you. Have a good night.
There are
Stay on here.
Female fans of his going crazy online. I mean, how backwards is that? That this guy would have fans demanding a hair salon, trim, new clothes every time he goes to court, not in a jury's presence. It's like he's getting everything he wants. Every demand is given to him at his whim.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why we felt the need to get a lawyer, to make sure that everything was done by the book. And I questioned that everything was, 100% done on paper. Where were these rights coming from? Who was making the decisions to give him the ability to not have normal cuffs? I just don't think any father is going to be okay with their accused mass murderer being treated with any kind of preferential treatment whatsoever. I'm not asking for him to be in shackles and orange during his trial. Everybody deserves a fair trial, and a fair trial means you look presentable and you don't look like a criminal. But we're not even there yet. They're trying to delay everything, and nobody's arguing that they're not trying to, push things back and asking for more time and I need more years. And in my mitigation, which for people who don't know comes at the end of the trial, but my mitigation expert witness is I need to delay it. We're frustrated that he's being treated with these preferential things, and we can't find them on paper. Show me who made this decision. I can hold that person accountable. These are elected officials. I can hold people accountable. But if you don't put it on paper, it makes it very hard for me to understand who did it. So this new judge is doing it by the book. Everything I've seen, I like. And that's all I'm asking. We're not asking for him to come in there with a ball and chain and a mask over the top of him. We're just saying, why is this man being treated different than the criminal that comes in an hour after him or an hour before him? Why is he being treated one way as a mass murderer and these other individuals are being treated in a different manner? That's what we're pointing out. And that's what
not a bad point there, Steve.
We're using forums like this to bring to people's attention that some of these things are questionable, and we don't like them. We don't like them one bit.
Mr. Goncalves, have you seen him in court?
Yes, I've definitely seen him in court multiple times. The very first chance I was given an opportunity to see him in person, I was there, and we're going to keep that same position where when we can be there and it's a court hearing of any magnitude, of any real decision being made, we're going to be there. No, I've heard that sometimes he has looked in that direction, but I've never seen him look at me.
I want to tell you what happened, Mr. Goncalves. When I did go to my fiance's murder trial, which was a big blur.
Make sure to subscribe, please.
I thought my dad drove me, but my mom also drove me. I had to take off of work. And my dad at the time was working for the railroad his whole life. And my mom was a payroll clerk, and they would take off to drive me, oh gosh, over 2 hours one way to get there. And I never focused on the defendant. But at the end of my testimony, I came and I was walking out, and I looked down at the state's table, and I saw Keith's bloody clothes, which I had never seen it. And then I kept walking, and I came to the defense table, and I looked at the lawyers first, because he was flanked by a bunch of lawyers. And I looked them in the eyes, and they looked down. And then I looked at the defendant, I guess for the first time, in the face. And none of them would look up at me standing at the table. And then I walked out, dead quiet.
What did you bring me here for? Like, what did you bring me here for?
All I could hear were my boots on that marble floor walking out. Your mind, when you first saw Bryan Kohberger.
Kohberger.
I don't know where I actually heard it, but I've always heard, and it's always stuck with me. I wanted to peer through this man's soul and understand the best that it's possible what kind of person. Yeah, it's not easy, but I have an obligation, and I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about what this person stepped into when he picked my daughter. And yeah, it's a very uncomfortable situation. We get people requesting all the time for us to sign off so they
Is the audio choppy? Okay, hang on. Let me am I all right, let's do this. Am I choppy? Let me know if I'm choppy. If I sound good, just say good. If it's the video, then put video and I'll reset. I sound good? Okay, so it's got to be the video. All right, let me just I'm going to refresh the screen here. Hopefully this helped. Both sound choppy. Interesting. Well, that's not good. The show is choppy. Everybody says both. Just the video. Interesting. It could be a StreamYard thing. StreamYard's not really the best platform. We're going to try to fight through the rest of this.
Don't want to be in that again, ever. But when you say people want you to release the crime scene photos of your daughter.
Does my microphone sound good now? Yeah, I got to get that hardwired studio. Does that seem better now? Do I sound better? Seems better. You're choppy. Need to go teach you OBS. I know. I sound better. Perfect. All right. Let's go.
Daughter?
Mm-hmm.
What are they thinking? They're like vultures circling. I don't understand that. How dare they?
Yeah, it's clickbait. It's viewers. It's disgusting, and we don't want it. We want nothing to do with any of that disgusting behavior, and hopefully it's not even possible. But as just a regular parent, you don't know. You don't know what's possible. I mean, so much of this is so new to us, and it doesn't make sense. So if one day I woke up and there was pictures of our children on a newspaper with some blurred out stuff, I wouldn't even know what to say or what to do or what my rights would be. So yeah, there's definitely people out there right now who want to make money off of a crime, and they know that that's something that would bring people to them. And we're in an attention economy, and these people want that. They actually are hunting it down.
Suspected Idaho students killer Bryan Kohberger gets a win as judge grants change of venue request.
The Goncalves family has attended every hearing in Bryan Kohberger's prosecution, but is now forced to fundraise to afford relocating to Boise for the trial. The family of 10 released a statement expressing their extreme disappointment in the decision, criticizing the state's failure to cross-examine the defense's witnesses effectively. Now they are hoping to raise enough money to rent a home, feed themselves, and account for 3 months of lost work.
Joining us tonight, Steve Goncalves. This is Kelly's father. He's living in pure hell every day, waking up to relive the day before. This while he's got other children, his wife, of course, who is suffering as well. And now dealing with having to travel to Boise, hours away, miss work, set up housekeeping there, and drag himself to court every day. Mr. Goncalves, again, please know for what solace it is to you that you and your family are the object of so many prayers. And I hate what you are about to go through. It's a horrible ordeal where you'll have to relive everything that happened from the first moment you picked that phone up and learned that something was wrong up to the moment in court. And you will be looking right at Bryan Kohberger the entire time, if he will even meet your gaze, which I doubt. Why is this trial moved? I understand.
I'm going to give Bogart, please do me a favor. I'm going to give you an opportunity here because we want to know here in the chat. List 5 things in the chat that will clear Bryan Kohberger's name. 5 things in the chat. List them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let us know. I'm serious. Let the chat know. 5 things. 5 things. I guarantee you can't come up with 5 things. All right, let's go.
To protect it on appeal
We'll
if
wait.
we get a conviction. But my question to you, the hardship is going to bring upon you and your family. You've set up a GoFundMe. I want to talk about why it's important that you have the GoFundMe. Help Kelly Goncalves' family attend
That's
trial.
a good one, Mary.
Explain the hardship it will bring on you and your family, Steve.
I'm literally running to like the equivalent of a train wreck that has my daughter in it and Maddie. I don't want to be in that courtroom. I don't want to
another one.
hear what I'm going to have to hear.
Tonight.
But my daughter deserves it. She's beautiful. She's everything to us.
I'll tell you, I didn't think this, why doesn't this happen during Karen Reed streams? I got all these fucking crazy people. I'm telling you, Monday night, this is the greatest thing. I would never thought during a Bryan Kohberger stream that all this shit would happen tonight. We got people yelling at me. I got some guy lying right now saying that I had moderators emailing him. I'm like, dude, send me the email. Let's just show me the email. Come on, prove it. I got people in here calling me crazy. This is the most amazing stream. This is the funnest stream I've had in forever.
And I have to be there for her. And I'm going to be willing to hear and see things that I never ever thought I'd ever have to be facing. But I have to, knowing what I know, I can't sit on the sideline. I mean, I have a lawyer who was a prosecutor who prosecuted murder cases, and he said nothing is more impactful to that jury than to see firsthand the damage that this person has done to the people that are important to them. So they're going to see.
Steve, you have to be there. I know in your own heart, you feel you have to be there.
3 more minutes.
But as a felony prosecutor over a decade, you have to be there, and you have to have your wife there, and you have to have the entire family there, and they have to be on the very front row behind the prosecution. There's no way for this cup to be taken away from you. There's no way you can't show up. You understand that, right?
I do, and
wish they would.
I don't want to put it on anyone else, but I hope all families find the strength to at least be there at certain key moments, because
I tell you,
all these children, people need to understand how much pain and how beautiful these people were, and the only way that you can really show them is through your face, through your emotions, through you being there, supporting them. And yes, it's ghoulish, and yes, it's gross, and we don't want to be there, but I feel I have to be there. My family will be there, but I know we're not the only victims, and I know that some people think that we're just trying to draw their attention to ours. It's not that. I just can't ask other people to walk my path. I can only walk mine. In my family, I can walk and coach and counsel them, but I hope everybody finds some strength to let that courtroom understand what the world is missing.
Mr. Goncalves, thank you for being with us tonight.
What a dream.
I cannot imagine any father doing a better job for his child than you are doing tonight and every night for Kelly. And I'm just very proud that we got to speak with you. For those of you watching or listening now,
wow, look at that donation.
Please
$5
help
grand.
Kelly Goncalves' family attend her trial. It will be a long and arduous ordeal for them. They are leaving their home. They are leaving their jobs and doing without to be in court and fight.
He said I was rude
for her. I want to thank Mr. Goncalves for being with us.
Oh, I love it.
I also want to thank you for.
All right, I can't. Thank you, Nancy. We love you. Oh man, what a stream! Gosh, what a stream! I haven't had this much battling in the chat in a long time. Jeez, this was a good one. This is a good one tonight. A lot of battling in the stream, back and forth. I mean, we had Bryan Kohberger stuff. We had Karen Reed stuff come into this. I mean, what else? I got this other guy arguing with me about Enrique Delgado Garcia. I mean, it's just, this is what happens over here in LTL. But listen, almost 2.5 hours tonight. I didn't think it was going to go this long. Really spicy tonight. Good stuff. I'll be back on Wednesday night. I don't think I'm going to do Wednesday. I think I'm going to do Thursday. Well, I know I'm doing Thursday. I got Mizzy coming in on Thursday. We're going to talk Sandra Birchmore. Should be live here in studio. But wow, what a rumble tonight, right? Yeah, it was a rumble. It was maybe we got to do more of these. We got to do more of these. It was like a debate tonight. I love it. I love it. Jeez, holy smokes, this is crazy. But good stuff. Maybe we can do more Bryan Kohberger stuff. I got to get back in, read this case file, go back through all my notes, and we'll get back into this. I think this was pretty fun. We can duke it out with all these people that come in. But we have the full moon coming up. I don't know. Something is in the air tonight. Something's in the air. But good time. It's a good time overall. Listen, like I said, I'll be back possibly Wednesday, definitely Thursday. Maybe I do a Ghost Squad members only on Wednesday night, and then we'll have Mizzy in on Thursday night, and we'll go from there. But very, very, everybody's all wound up in the chat. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here. It's getting, I don't even know what time it is. What time is it? Oh, 9:15. Not too bad. I'll actually get home at a decent time tonight. I love everybody. Thank you so much for contributing to the show. We had quite a few super chats. We had a lot of milestone members out there that that showed their support. I appreciate Ghost Squad members. Thank you. Hopefully, like I said, we'll keep doing some of these off-brand cases and keep stretching the wings here on the channel. But good stuff overall. I love all of you. Thank you for coming here and supporting. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be back soon. Talk to everybody soon. Have a good night. I'll be back possibly Wednesday night for a Ghost Squad members only. So if you want to become a member, just go down there and click the join button down below. Membership start at $1.99. That will get you in the behind the scenes action. And Thursday night, most definitely, Most definitely Thursday night, I'll be back. Oh, by the way, there's a rumor out there that there's going to be another 2020 Karen Reed episode, I believe, this Friday. If that is true, I will do a watch party style like we did last time. Maybe I can get a couple of peeps in here to hang out, have some fun here in the studio, and hang out and watch that with all of you. Thank you all so much. I love you all. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to get out of here and hit the outro. I need a break. Goodbye.